Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. This is a really casual chat. It's called Emerge. We want to talk, all of us, about the things that we did to overcome challenges. As you know, I wrote a book a few months ago, and I published my book that speaks about that, about emerging from challenges. I did a couple, well, not a couple things. I did a few things, in my process of healing, and changing my life for the better. And I did a lot of things that worked for me, but everyone is not in the same, everyone is not in the same path. And everyone, has different things that they do to heal themselves and to overcome challenges themselves. That's why in this book, I invited a few professionals from different fields that they actually gave me their experience. I have Maike, and I have Monika also here, Dr. Monika. So the Ilka might be joining later. She's having some trouble now, but she'll be joining us in the meeting later. And we want to talk about that. Maike is actually a coach. She helps people with relationships. Also, she helps people with mindfulness and meditation. She actually helped me a lot through my process of meditation myself. And Monika also, she's an expert in nutrition. She, like I said, she's a doctor. She has a PhD and she does a lot of research and investigation, and she does a lot of, she has this really cool group. It's called, what is the name of the group, Monika? I forgot, I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's called Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
Just like the show. Yeah.
And she gave us all this amazing advice about nutrition and things that you can do also. And Monika has some interesting research also for people with chronic illnesses. So she can talk about that when she introduces herself. But this is something that all of us went through very difficult challenges in our lives. We did come to, we did come to the other side of the rainbow, like I said. At the end of the rainbow, there's also something, there's a treasure, like in all kids' books, because I find after a challenge, there's always a victory. At the end of the process, there's always a light. There's always something pretty, and there's always a transformation. So I want to talk about that because that's very important for people who are still stuck in the same process and they don't know how to get out of that. So I want to talk about that, and each one of us is going to introduce ourselves right now. So like I am Paula. I wrote the book Emerge, like I said, and I also do a lot of things about neuroscience. I've been doing a lot of certifications about that because I became interested about neuroscience a couple of years ago, because I had all these things, that helped me, to rewire my thoughts. And I did a lot of internal processing with my mind and my brain to change my mindset and to find resilience through the process that I was doing. So that's how I became, interested in neuroscience. Well, I was a CEO from, working in the Silicon Valley, raising money for my other companies that I sold later in the future, in the past right now. But right now, I'm totally focused on this fitness journey now with my new product and in the neuroscience part with my book. But I wanna actually probably join forces with fitness and mind and bring some maybe retreats that women can join where they can heal themselves, they can reset their lives, they can find something new, and learn. And I want to do that from now on. And I want to introduce, then we can speak maybe Maike or Monika. You're now on my big screen. So maybe why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Sure, no problem at all. So, hi everyone. It's such a pleasure being here, and thank you so much, Paula, for inviting me. I'm really, really grateful. And I was so grateful for the opportunity that you gave me to contribute to the book that you published. And it's really important to share as many stories about the challenges that people are facing in life and how they actually manage to overcome them, and how people are not stuck, and they are not destined to stay stuck where they are. And we can change our future. We can change also our present. So with that said, hi, my name is Dr. Monika. I am a scientist by education and profession. I have been in science for almost 20 years now. I know I look younger than I actually am. And I have always been interested in everything connected to bugs, bacteria, viruses, stuff like that. My bachelor's of science is in microbiology, where I really fell in love with the world of unseen, what we can't see. And I've been studying how these cells, how bacterial cells communicate with our body and so on, and how we can actually manipulate bacteria and yeast and a lot of different microorganisms for our good. For example, making bread and wine and beer, all the tasty stuff that people love. That is all with the help of microorganisms. So bacteria is not always bad. They're actually, in majority of cases, they're our friends. So then I went on to doing a master's of science in Germany, where I fell in love with neuroscience. And I've actually done my thesis on the genetics of neurodevelopment, so meaning of development of the brain. And it was absolutely fascinating. Fell in love with the topic, and that's what brought me to Scotland, which is where I am now, at the best UK university, where I have finished my PhD again in genetics of dyslexia, and then went on to study viruses, cancer research, and microbiome. So my professional journey kind of aligned with my personal story of being really unhappy with myself and being unhealthy as well. So my personal story starts in my childhood. I was a subject of narcissistic abuse for over 30 years, actually. And I thought that was normal because, you know, they like to manipulate you in a way that they make you think that something's wrong with you and that they're not doing anything wrong. So I really struggled with my self-worth, with my image, and I was trying to find shelter somewhere, but because that was happening at home, the physical abuse, the mental and the emotional abuse, that was happening at home where it should be my safe haven, I turned to food as my emotional crutch. So I became an emotional eater. With emotional eating, I've started piling on weight, a lot of weight. And I've been actually eating in secret because people were trying to help me lose weight by not giving me food, by giving me salads instead of anything else, and so on and so forth. So there was a lot of feelings of shame. There was a lot of feelings of digression and feeling unworthy because people showed me that I need to lose weight, and in order to be loved, I have to be of a smaller size. And that was just so damaging to my mental health and also to my physical health, because no one actually taught me how to lose weight. They just said, just eat less and exercise more, which is what everyone tells you, right? And that is actually not true. So after 15 years of studying all of these things, and after losing 25 kilos myself and keeping it off for 15 years and being pregnant in between, and now actually in my mid-30s being in the best shape of my life, I have realized that it is not my story that is the only one. And I am now helping women break bad. And this is why my Facebook group is called Breaking BAD. And it's all about being balanced, authentic, and deserving. So I resonate with your message, Paula, so much, because it is, yes, I am a scientist. Yes, it is about nutrition that I coach, but it's not just about that. Our body is connected and everything is one. So you need to address your body. You need to address your mind. You need to work on so many things together as a whole. And we're entering a new era of personalized medicine and personalized coaching. And this is why the programs that we have are so incredibly important. So I help women beat their chronic illnesses through nutrition coaching and mental health practices. Thank you so much.
Oh, so that's such an amazing story, Monica. And like you said, we connected a lot with our stories because we're both through a lot of struggle and all of that. And like what you said, when you are in a situation like that, sometimes you know that you're in it. Like you said, you didn't know anything better than that. So you thought that was normal, and many people go through that, and that's not true. Many people think abuse is normal, being diminished, because of your body or your weight is normal, and it's not. And all these things that people think they're normal, they don't realize they're being abused, they're being, traumatized, and that's actually going to come, it's going to make you so much damage in the future, in your life, with your relationships, with your kids, with your life. I saw in the book that you shared such a powerful story, not only about your weight, but with your mom and all of that. And that was so, I connected so much to that, because my mom is a role model. I had a very good story in that way, in that area. My mom was such a good role model. And when I went through my challenges, like I lost my hearing and I couldn't communicate with anyone, I went through all this depression, almost like anxiety. I had this panic attack and all of that. I was really way down in the hole. What really helped me was, people around me that actually were role models in my life, that I saw my mom, fighting every day for her life, for being independent, for doing this, for raising her kids, for all of that. And that actually helped me a lot. But for some people who have this struggle like you, all those things actually affect you in the future, affect your resilience, your capacity to overcome, problems. And that's so important to have that, in your childhood, to be a resilient adult, to be, overcome those challenges easy. And you did it anyway, even though, you went through all those challenges, you did it yourself. And that's really amazing because you took all those experiences and you were not a victim. You really, rise up and you did what you had to do, to get you where you are right now. So I think that's pretty amazing. And I admire you so much. Thank you so much for being here, Monica. So now, Maike, why don't you share a little of your experience too? Maike was another person in the book, and she's, like I said, she's an expert in mindfulness and meditation, and she knows all this about. Also, she says she has some things in her childhood, that she was a people pleaser, right, Maike? So
Yes.
she talks about that a lot, and she said, so many things in the book that they're so important also about, calming your mind, meditation and mindfulness, and how they help you to be, a non-reactive person, in life, which you need when you're going through all these challenges. You really need to get your mind in a point where you can really, be more efficient and make better decisions about, how to overcome these situations. So, Maike, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you so much, Paula, for having me here. First of all, congrats to the book. I mean, it's amazing. I still can't believe it's out there and so many people are reading it and so many people are benefiting from it. And I think this is just like probably in a few years, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, wow, this has been one of my greatest achievements in life, because it really is like a masterpiece. I remember the first time you sent it to me, I was just like, going on and on and on, and like it's just, you can go through it so quickly as well, because it's really, I really also like the style of writing, so congrats for that. And yeah, and I'm actually also so happy I get to meet now as well Dr. Monika, because I heard so much about you, Monika, and I think your story is just so inspiring, and it really shows as well, like the same way as Paula, your story, like how we can become so strong from our challenges, right? How our challenges can actually help us become, or empower us to become the people we are right now, and they can help us form our mission, our vision, our purpose in life as well. So yeah, I feel really honored to be here today and speak to both of you wonderful and inspiring female leaders, because that's who you are. So yeah, so me, I am Maike. I am from Germany, actually. But I've lived now for 6 years in Barcelona, in Spain. I first moved here for the job, and then I loved it so much, so I stayed. And yeah, so today I am a meditation teacher, a mindfulness teacher, and a relationship coach. And I have a wonderful community here in Barcelona, with amazing women and men that want to come together and grow and connect, and also discover the power of mindfulness, right? So I do one-on-one coachings, but I really also enjoy working in that community and building that community. So that's who I am right now, and what got me to that point. Paula, you already talked a little bit about it. So for many years, I used to be a really big people pleaser. I really struggled to say no. I struggled to be in any type of conflict. I could not be in conflict. I just hated it. And as a result, I took on a lot, and I felt drained, and I really did not have a lot of energy left anymore, because I was giving all that energy to everyone else. I had a very busy work life as well at that point. I was traveling a lot with work. And at the same time, also, I was investing a lot of time and energy into my relationships around me, family relationships, friends, work colleagues, romantic relationships. So at some point, I was really drained. And the scary part is that I did not realize it. So my body was giving me the signals. I became sick at least once a month. My immune system became weaker and weaker, and I went from one doctor to the next. They just gave me medication and said, well, it's just because now you live in Spain, maybe, and the weather is different than in Germany, or the bacteria are different than in Germany. And yeah, and at some point I got so sick. I had a pneumonia, and I was in bed for 2 months. I could not do anything anymore. And I was like, okay, this is the point now. I need to change something. And that's when I got into mindfulness and meditation, because to be honest with you, I don't come from a home where neither of those two are very accepted or very appreciated, I would say. So for me, it was always something very spiritual out there for the yogis in the world. But not for me, I thought. So up until that point, I didn't know anything about meditation, mindfulness, mental health. So that situation, though, really forced me to kind of start it. Just started with 10 minutes a day, really easily. And I got amazed by it. It changed everything for me. It gave me the tools to overcome my people pleasing. It gave me the tools to love myself enough to be able to say no to others and say yes to myself. And so at some point I realized, hey, I want to give this to more people. I want to make mindfulness more approachable, more accessible, easier, like more practical for everyday life to the people around this, around me, or like in general, to as many people as I can. So that is when I started Smile O'Clock, which is my mental health project. Now I'm self-employed as well, so it became a job now as well. And yeah, I'm really happy to share my experience and help people overcome their challenges through mindfulness and meditation.
Thank you, Maike. That's a great story too, because most people, they actually battle a lot about, saying no to others. And there's a big problem with setting, boundaries about the people who are around you. So setting boundaries is probably the most difficult thing sometimes, because people get offended you tell them, you start setting your boundaries around them, and they think, they get defensive, but there are many ways where you can, help people to do that. And that's great, because many people need that help. For example, when you're going through a challenge, I think that's one of the things that helped me a lot, was setting boundaries with the people around me and saying no to people, that were, doing things that I didn't like in that moment. So I didn't have to say yes to everyone. I said no to some people, and I think that helped me a lot also in my journey. And when you said something, another thing that was very important is you said you loved yourself, because if you don't love yourself enough, then you're not gonna, overcome the challenges that you have. You're not gonna set boundaries. You're not gonna do anything in life, because when you start loving yourself, that's when you discover that you can do, so many things, like boundaries. You can tell people no. You can tell others, this is who I am, and people have to accept you that way. So that's very powerful. And I think I found that when I was doing that, and I became, I opened my heart, and I was being vulnerable with people around me, they started to, accept me the way I was, even though if that was not, the perfect person that they wanted me to be, right? So even around my ex-husband, or, the other people that I knew that were not, sometimes very patient, or, with my situation, I had to, overcome those challenges on my own and do a lot of inner work. But at the same time, the people around me, when they saw that I was building all that, and they saw I was building all this self-love, loving myself again, getting to know that I am the only person that, that I need to heal, that I don't need to rely on others for healing. And that, that's so important, because people think healing and overcoming challenges is external, but it's not. It's all inside of you. So mindfulness, like you said, really also helped me, and meditation, like, Maike, it helped me so much. And that's when I saw, the power of your mind and all these things where you can work on. And that's so powerful. And that's one of the tools that I did, talk about in the book, because for me, that opened the door to so many things, when I started meditating more and more, and I saw what it did to me, then I started saying, this is, amazing. I started going deeper and deeper and deeper, and, reading and learning and this and that. So that's where I am right now. So I thank you so much for this journey with you, Maike, because you helped me a lot through that too. And,
thank you.
That's one of the tips probably that I want you guys to give, everyone in this chat when they look at this video, is what are the tips that you guys think when everybody goes through a bad challenge like you guys did, there's always a moment where you say, okay, there's a breakthrough moment. Yeah, you said, I need to step up and do something, right? So what do you guys do in that moment? What do you do to get you out of that hole, or out of that process, like not being the victim anymore, being the hero that you wanted to be, that you are right now? So I want you guys to talk a little bit about that. How did you do that? And just give some tips to the people who are probably stuck in life and need that encouragement in life. So when you start, Monika?
Yes, of course. First of all, Maike, wow, what a story. I can resonate so much with you and what you shared. And there you go. We've got a mutual destination. Where from Germany are you?
From
Yes.
Kiel, actually.
Ah, wonderful. I was
yeah.
in Bavaria for 3 years.
Oh, nice, nice.
In and around Munich. But yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So the challenge is, obviously Mike is more of an expert on that than I am. But I can just share basically my journey and how I came to where I was. So I once heard the story about twin brothers who had alcoholic father. And one of the brothers became an alcoholic. And the other brother became a super, super successful business person and had fantastic life, and he was really healthy and he was helping other people, and he was just an amazing role model. And people approached these men separately and they asked them, how come you are where you are right now in your life? And both gave the same answer: because my father was an alcoholic. So one took that as in, because my father is an alcoholic, I can do nothing else in life but become exactly like my father. And then the other one followed that, because my father is alcoholic, I know what struggle that is for him and everyone else around. So I'm going to dedicate my life to make people's lives easier so that we can help each other and they live better lives. And I heard that story and it just did. And because my mother is a narcissist that she doesn't obviously realize that she is, and she has been abusing me for 30 years and she still tries to, and I have had to put limits and boundaries on and all of that. Because of her being like that, I have decided that this suffering and this pain and this shame and not feeling good enough should not be an everyday thing for any other woman if I can do anything about this. So I have joined various different groups, and quite a lot of them in common are growth mindset. So if you haven't heard about growth mindset, I definitely urge you to have a Google about what that is. But in a nutshell, it is believing that you can change, and it's believing that you can conquer difficulties in your life and that you will find a way, perhaps not immediately, but when you keep looking, you keep doing it. And I feel like maybe I'm very lucky as a nature of a scientist and academic. They drill into you how to troubleshoot, right? And maybe that's what makes me so successful with my clients as well, is exactly what Maike was saying. She went to the doctor and she didn't get an answer. She didn't get a treatment that is suitable for her. And that's happening in the UK, that's happening in Germany, that's happening in the rest of Europe. So it doesn't matter where you go. It's the medical system is broken, unfortunately. Doctors are treating symptoms, not the root of the cause. And when clients come to me, they ask me to help them. We go onto that journey where it's like, okay, we're here now, let's try what works and then guide you through it. And if that's not it, we're gonna pivot and find a different way. So troubleshooting as it goes. And that's exactly what I've done with my life. I've been somewhere, so I've lost 25 kilos, 55 pounds. I've lost all that weight, and that was relatively fast that I've lost all that weight once I finally met the right person to guide me through it. But then I developed an eating disorder because I was scared that I won't be able to keep that weight off, because I didn't understand nutrition. I didn't understand what it means to stay healthy and to eat well and to keep the weight off, because I treated it like a diet because that's what people teach you. So I developed an eating disorder. I started feeding carbs. I wouldn't eat them at all. I had anxiety attacks before every social function, birthdays, parties. I just wouldn't go because there was alcohol that I didn't want to drink. There was carbs that I didn't want to eat because I was so scared that I was going to put that weight on. And it took me several steps and pivoting and troubleshooting through my own mind, with a lot of mindfulness as well, to understand how I feel about certain things, to break my limiting beliefs, to learn about that carbs don't make you fat. That is not that is wrong with you. So many things. So I feel like there's a lot of personal development that I did along the way. And that was through books, it was through various Facebook groups, through various individuals like yourself as well, who came into my life and taught me a lesson. So I feel the most important lesson for me and for people that I coach, I always say, stay open-minded, because you never know what you don't know. And you don't know what a person can bring into your life, and you don't know what they can teach you. You never know their story. So be open-minded and be patient with people who are different, because they just might have the solution for you.
That's so true. That's so true. That's an amazing answer, Monica. It's true. If you love yourself, like you said, you didn't matter about the weight coming on and off. You know, this life. So the most important is that, like, now you love yourself the way you are, and you're healthy, and you're, you know, powerful, and you have all this knowledge now that you can, you know, use to help people. So that's what makes everything right now, right? So great. What about you, Maike? What do you think about the tips
Yeah,
that you?
it's crazy, right? That oftentimes we need a moment in life where we really like very low in order to understand what it actually what we actually need, right? And I really love how the story that you shared, Monica, as well. It's really about like realizing that life doesn't happen to us, but for us, right? In that example, I think this is just a beautiful, I'm going to remember that story. I think it's so powerful. Yeah, so I think for me, the key was to understand the importance of listening to my body, because like I said, I really was completely disconnected from my body at that point. I didn't realize that I was stressed. I didn't take the signs from my immune system that something wasn't really working. And so this is where I really love the power of mindfulness and meditation, because it teaches us to listen to our body. It teaches us to really explore all of our senses and be like, hey, what am I feeling right now? What is it that I'm actually feeling? What do I need? So, and I think this is like a process. It's like you have to learn this, right? And for me, there are certain types of meditations that can really help to get to the bottom of it. And also, Paula, you and I, we've done it a lot as well, right? And I use it actually in my everyday life, like kind of just really sitting down and understanding like what is it that we really feel like. And we can start maybe by asking ourselves to explore the senses, like what are 5 things that we can see, 4 things that we can hear, right? 3 things that we can touch, 2 things that we can smell, 1 thing that we can taste, or however you want to have your order. And then after really imagining that your emotions are separate from your body and trying to kind of give a name to your emotion, like kind of like really understanding what emotion you actually see right now and really digging deeper. And I have realized from my experience that for me, like the root of nearly every negative feeling that I have is a lack of self-love. And it can be like in the form of self-doubt, can be in the form of self-criticism, can take different forms. But for me, I think this realization that any negative feeling that I have, if I really do this whole meditative process of digging deep what I'm actually feeling, like that moment when I realized, oh, it's actually again a lack of self-love, that gives me the tools then to know what to do, right? Because once we know the actual problem, we can help we can help ourselves to feel better, to treat ourselves. And me, I have like a list of things actually that I can do whenever I need self-love. I have like a little emergency list that I really encourage everybody to do. It's been helping me so much. So of course, I created that list in moments where I did feel full of self-love. So kind of like what activities are there that make you feel good, and how do you know that you feel good? Really, I love to work also with neuroscience here, and like and combine it with nutrition, with movement, like our happiness hormones. I mean, I love to also add these little components. And as well, what is very helpful for me is positive psychology. So kind of kind of balancing this negativity bias that we always have in our mind, right? Always paying more attention to the negative compared to the positive. So the easiest way for me to do it, and I think many of my clients would agree with that, is gratitude. So having like a daily gratitude journal has completely changed my life. I think it's so helpful. And if you're not a writer, maybe you just want to share with your family around the table at the end of the day, or you just want to meditate on it, like whatever is your way of doing it. But also talking about growth mindset, what Monika said as well, kind of like the way how we speak to ourselves, kind of changing it to positive reinforcements instead of saying I'm sorry, saying thank you, like these little things like that, right, that we can implement in our life to make us feel like better in times when it's just not going the way how we want it to go, maybe in that moment. So and also if you are a journaling type, I think just also writing things down, just like doing a mind dump, just putting it all down, it for me is really powerful as well. So kind of using this, the power of the word as well is really, it's been really helpful for me. So yeah, now I feel like I shared so many little tools. But yeah, I think the key is the connection with our mind, body and mind and soul, if you want to go further, connection, and then kind of understanding that the reason for a disconnection is a lack of self-love, and kind of tackling that, like how can I give myself the love, like what do I need?
Can I just jump in and just a little bit reinforce what Maike just said? So perhaps for people in the audience who find mindfulness and meditation and all that a little bit, out of place, I was that. I am a very analytical person, obviously, as a scientist. For me, getting in touch with myself and being mindful and meditating, journaling, all that kind of stuff was just like, it made absolutely zero sense, right? But as you go about growing a business, growing as a person, trying to develop your health and stuff like that, you keep coming across people who will tell you always the same thing, that they wake up in the morning and they journal. They journal or they write affirmations. So for those of you who don't know what these are like positive statements about yourself, about your future, about your present, a law of attraction, trying to get these good vibes out of there so that they can come back to you and all of these things. And for me, that was just complete nonsense, to be absolutely honest. Like really did not align with me. But I've seen every successful person doing it, every multi-7-figure entrepreneur doing these things, waking up early, going to the gym, eating nutritious food, really taking care of their body. But then at the same time, they're also taking care of their mind by journaling. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming. You could just literally write down, today I feel like this, or today my body felt like this, I wonder why. It's really simple stuff. And then I myself have started practicing affirmations and gratitude. So I literally have a book, like a notebook, and I write affirmations in the morning with my cup of mushroom tea, because that's what I like now. And I started doing that. And then on the next page, I write, I'm grateful for, and then everything that I'm grateful for, literally from my phone, which is my life, to my daughter, to my health, anything at all. And the mindset shift that happened from just starting to do that, even though I thought it was silly, I thought it didn't make any sense, but gradually my mindset has shifted. I became more focused and became more positive, and I started taking more positive action towards building my business, positive action towards helping my clients. And doing these things has made me a better person, has made me a better coach as well. So now I recommend my clients to journal. And of course, at the moment, it looks like journal as in write down your food every single day. So they deliver food journals for me so that I can give them daily feedback on their habits. But on top of that, they also write one line as in mood and feelings, and other. So not only what they're putting in their body, but also what they're putting into their mind. And just wanted to kind of reinforce what Maike said, how important that really is. And if you are anything like me, who thought that that was complete nonsense, then I really, really invite you to read Paula's book, give these practices a go, and they really don't cost you a thing. So just start.
That's true, because you said you guys talk of so many things about mindfulness, gratitude, journaling, and all of that. Those are some of the tools that I give in the book that have worked for me. And so many people are so afraid of just trying things like that because, like you said, Monica, they come from a different background and they think, oh, this is nonsense. This thing about energetic thing is like hippie stuff, but it's not. There's actually groundbreaking research right now in neuroscience that, Monica, now about how your brain, when you visualize, things, how your brain actually activates, neural pathways, and you start creating all those things in your brain and getting those things. And now, Joe Dispenza, which is, one of neuroscience, there are two, all these people that they're doing all this research that if people tell you that's nonsense, they're wrong because there's research, there's science backing up those things now. So we need to, just tell these people, that's not like a voodoo stuff or magic thing that's going to happen to you. It's for real. It's things that actually I did and they helped me. And they do help me every day. What meditation did for me was great, but I have to say, Maike knows this, but for me, gratitude, channeling in the gratitude, it actually is amazing for me. It really gives me so much more positivity. It makes my day better. I wake up every morning and I have to have 5 to 10 minutes of gratitude, thinking about all these things I'm grateful for, getting up in the morning and just being grateful and feel, I just feel my body, the chemistry of my body just changes, there's something so amazing about that. It just, is amazing. So I can say, I'm sure of words right now to say, the amazing changes, that happen in your body and your mind when you do that. And that's what I tell people, try to tell people about that, because it's amazing. And meditation too, and now visualization is something that, like I said, activates so many things in your, in your brain, and it's actually true, and it helps you to be more, to have goals in life that you can reach, that you never thought that you could reach before. But you use visualization, and the power of it, you can start having, getting closer to your goals and, do the things that you need to get to where you need to be in life. So, of course, I want to talk about this, but this is more like another meeting. So, but I think that's amazing. And what Monica said about the, the case of the two brothers, I think that's amazing because I actually think that's so true. You have every day you can choose your path, and the growth mindset also helped me a lot because when I, before losing my hearing, I thought people with disabilities were not, the same. I thought people with disabilities were actually less, they're like, I had another perception of people with that, and now that I have a disability, I changed my mindset so much, my perception changed so much, and the growth mindset helped me a lot because I saw myself in another light pretty much. So I know now that even though I have a limitation, that actually I am a better person now. So so that's what I wanted to, do in the book. And that's what I want to let people know, that even if you have challenges in life, challenges are an opportunity to transform yourself. If you didn't have an opportunity to do that because you're stuck in life and you're doing this and that, and you're being like moving around so much in your life through different things, but sometimes challenges, they bring a new light to things. So, and that's what I wanted to say in the book, when you have a challenge, a really rough challenge, you need to really look at your life and what you're doing. And it's an opportunity for change, for transformation, for doing something more, positive with your life and change your life for the better. So that's what I want you guys to know. And that's what we did, Maike, Monica, and me. So I'm so happy to have you guys here and have you in my book. And it's a pleasure. I'm so, honored to have you guys here and in my book, of course. So we should do another meeting talking about the power of visualization and things with Monica too and Maike, because there's a lot of research that we can talk. But thank you guys for being here. So I just want I want you guys to say goodbye and say what's your next project and say, your IGs or where people can find you in social media. So we can do that.
Thank you so much, Paula. Honestly, this was really heartwarming, and it's so good that we have this space for conversation and spreading awareness about things that people can do, especially nowadays when we're in really difficult times. So it's really, really important to share this wide and far. So I will be sharing this recording with as many people as possible. For me, if you simply Google my name as you see it on the screen, Dr. Monika Gostić, you will literally get all my stuff. You will find my website, you will find my LinkedIn, you will find my Facebook, and also TikTok. I am everywhere, so feel free to choose your favorite channel of communication and just send me a message. I am very, very happy to chat with people. And, if you have any questions regarding chronic illnesses and how to deal with them through nutrition, and of course, also some mental health practices, then I would be more than happy to help you. But obviously, if you're interested more in mindfulness and meditation, then Maike is definitely your person. So I'll just head my word to her. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Monica.
Thank you so much, ladies. This has been amazing. I feel so inspired now and so uplifted. I think it's great to share, not just also for others, but also I think for ourselves sometimes, right? Because we keep forgetting actually. So I really love this, and I am sure, and I know it's already happening. Your book, Paula, is inspiring so many people. So I'm really happy again to contribute to that, and really happy also to get to know you, Monika. It's really amazing what you're doing. I want to know more. I think I'm going to connect with you after this. Yeah, so how can you find me? If you're in Barcelona, I do lots of events here, lots of workshops. I have a little meditation circle in a park here in Barcelona. So just like you will find me on Meetup or on my website, or actually also on Instagram. So it's a Smile O'Clock. So that's the name of my little business. Kind of saying like now it's time for smiling. Smile O'Clock. And yeah, so I'd be super happy to have you here. And I'm sure you will meet a lot of amazing people. Paula, you've been to some of the workshops as well. So it's a great place also to meet like-minded people. And then if you're not here, I also have a big online community on Instagram. Again, if you put in Smile O'Clock, you will find me. And also I have a YouTube channel where I share my favorite meditations. And it's not just recorded with like, some background, some background of the mountain or something, but I am really actually meditating with you. So I film myself while I meditate and I guide you through it. So I'd be super happy to meditate together with you. And yeah, if you want to take it one step further, I also do one-on-one coachings and group coaching. So just feel free to yeah, like Monika said, just send me a message. I love to talk and to connect. Check out my website, and yeah, I'd love to connect and hear from everybody.
Thank you, Maike. Thank you guys for being here. And you know me too. I'm Paula. I'm Neo Mom CEO right now, where you can find me. That's my IG everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, where I'm most active right now. And yeah, social media. I have a group also in Facebook where I talk about things, about neuroscience and things that mindfulness, meditation, and all of that too. Little tips and tricks and things that I learned from Maike. So, and I do all the meditations from Maike too in YouTube, so which are amazing. And I follow Monika's group on Facebook, which is amazing too. So please do that. And thank you guys for being here. And I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.